Hi guys, welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 17th of April 2021. The usual breakdown on the currencies that we monitor. And as always, guys, these are just my thoughts and opinions. Take it with a pinch of salt and make sure you do your own research and stick to your own plans. So we'll do Bitcoin first. I'll run through a bunch, but I'm going to do it quite quickly and then we'll spend a little bit of time on CHSB, Swissborgs token. So with Bitcoin, again, healthy. We can see the reactions on the way up. This is a nice controlled trend on the daily. We took out previous highs, as we can see, and then we're pulling back into this impulse move up. So this initial breakout here has effectively been negated as prices come all the way down and taken out the low of that candle's wick, or it's not even a wick there really, but tiny little thing. But basically, the low of this day here. Once that was taken, it's complete negation, full negation. So it's a negation. So this pullback here is a negation of this move. So we had a nice breakout, and then it's just been completely neutralized. In quotation marks. So there was, an area of liquidity here that price has dipped into once, and you can see the response away from that. And this is generally how we kind of get it. It's a good rule of thumb when you see price going to a level and reacting at that level, that there's liquidity there. That's generally what happens. So you can see that as price came down to full negation here, and let me just, I don't know if I can take this crosshair off just for a second, just so I can see. No, I know I can, but I don't want to go into settings to do it, but because it covers up the wick. But basically, price has come down, and you can see as price came down, I'll hold it there. As price came down, it reacted and then closed here. So we know that there was liquidity here because it's picked up by liquidity and reacted. And then it's come down a second time and gone straight through that low, because there's no liquidity there, and it's ran deeper into this area of liquidity, effectively to clean it out. There is just below here, and into this imbalance here and the liquidity pull down here, which I'll show you on the 4-hour chart. More liquidity below here, so if it does start to run lower, which it tried to do today, it's going straight for this and possibly down into the sort of 58 range. I did make a reference to this in the chat today because I do think it is possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but based on the way that this is going down and reacting from these all-time highs, it could quite healthily come all the way down here to pick up liquidity, and it will, if it does, dip below this candles low, and it will run deeper into the full liquidity pool and potentially all the way down to this area over here, which brings us roughly around about 57,500 and still be quite healthy. It wouldn't make a difference to the overall structure of Bitcoin, stopping it from going up or anything like that. It would just be effectively to pick up liquidity and accumulate more buy side. So bear that in mind. It is quite possible that Bitcoin does come down there. And again, if it does, 58's on the cards, and then potentially 57,500. I don't see much more downside after that. And then in terms of upside, obviously, for Bitcoin to continue its bullish move to the upside, it needs to clear this high and this high. Now, let me explain what I'm saying there. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying if it doesn't go above this high and this high, then it's going to go lower. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is for it to continue on its bullish move up and continue grinding higher to newer highs and newer highs, it has to clear these, which means if it doesn't, it's going sideways effectively, and consolidating within a quite a large range of around about $2,000. But all in all, very healthy, very bullish on Bitcoin, and everything's kind of grinding through the way it's supposed to, and Bitcoin's acting exactly like it's meant to be. So Ether, a bit stronger actually than Bitcoin. It started to grind, it broke new highs, and then more new highs, and then more new highs, and you can see the pullback's very muted. This is not pulling all the way in. This is not aggressive. I'm seeing, just based again on the flows, we're probably going to see something like this, up here, as it works off that 2,500 level, and then starts to grind a little bit higher. And obviously, when you're in territory like this, it's very difficult to kind of predict where price could potentially be going, but the most obvious place is around about 2.7 to 2.8, because these are solid numbers. Psychologically they're good numbers as well, so the whole numbers like 2.6, 2.7, 2.8, so on. So the next place effectively is going to be 2.7, 2.8, which makes sense in terms of ranges and the way that this is ranging to the upside. So again, I think it will slow for now. It is possible, obviously, we get some, something that happens and it goes, but just, in terms of the way that this is grinding nicely and quite efficient on the way up, the next leg's probably going to start around about here, so maybe in another week or so, and if it does, I expect roughly the same sort of range to the upside, which would put us roughly around about 2.8, yeah. Where are we? Uni, you can see, as I mentioned, I made a reference to these highs and price went straight through that, and it's just pulled back in a little bit. Maybe if I go down to the 4-hour chart just to show you a little bit, and that's what I was saying. This was the level that it's gone through, and you can see the inverse nature of that level as it dipped back in to rebalance this area here and dip right into the liquidity pool that it created on the inverse. And then these are the highs, that one and this one here that I made a reference to with this blue line, and prices ran straight through for that and then come all the way back, negation. So it dipped into that liquidity pool just here. We may get a little bit more downside just to around about here, but this is solid. I don't think Uniswap's going anywhere. I'm going to leave everything on the chart as it is for now. I don't want to change anything really. I will extend this out so we know that it's there and to be aware of, if for whatever reason it just tanks, but I can't see that happening at all. So Uniswap solid, probably going to be ranging now between 34 and around about 37, sort of here. So we'll just kind of leave it and see what happens. Binance again started to get a little bit ahead of itself, capitulated just a little up here. Pull back, drop. 480 probably. I'm not going to say it's going to happen or anything like that, but if it does start to grind lower, 480 is the most logical place it will go. In terms of full liquidity, as in if it really starts to grind to the downside, which I don't think that's what's going to happen, but if it does, then it's down here where the pause was, which is miles away. So again, probably the same as Ether. It's going to kind of grind sideways for a little while and just work within this range until something new kicks in. Pax. Nothing really to discuss about this, but it's interesting that we popped a little bit here. Let me just go over to the weekly and see. Yeah, I mean, this is a mess on the way back up as well, so we've already cleared this out with this drop there. Look at the insane response there. That was wicked, man. Look at what a wicked response from that level here. It dipped and then just boom, straight back up. That's a massive range. And then grinds, works off a little bit, dip, takes out the low. Accumulation. So in terms of offloading, it's going to be up here. Yeah, to deal off that liquidity, it will be here. That's where it needs to deal off the liquidity, the first lot, and then it will start working its way into this if it does start to grind to the upside. So we can expect at least around about 18.25 to 18.35 on Pax. Ren, let's get rid of this. I think that was just something else. That was on a daily. I know what it was. I made a reference to this area up here, and you can see prices come up. Tapped it beautifully. Yeah, if you remember, I actually circled this and I said, see what happens when price gets there. And obviously, I can't keep up with all of this, guys, because I don't watch Ren. I'm not interested in Ren at all. But I hope that people were looking at this, because it's just from experience. I've seen so many of these movements before, and the way that the liquidities flow. I hope somebody was studying this and paying attention to the response that we've had at this level. And again, I'm not making this stuff up, obviously, as you guys know by now. So if I make a reference to a level and you have time, because I know obviously we're all busy, we've got our daily lives and stuff, but if you have time, just keep an eye on them, study them, see what happens. And it will really sort of open up your eyes and give you a lot of insight into the way liquidity moves and some of the things that I discuss. and with Ren, in terms of moving forward, what can we expect? Pretty much the same as what we've been getting, really. That little pop there, in terms of the bullish nature of the entire crypto space and the way things have been going recently in the last sort of 2 weeks, Ren should have been up here, but it's not. It doesn't want to go. So we're going to get more of this crap basically to the side. Kyber network. It is showing some accumulation to the upside, but again, because of these capitulation spots, I'm not really expecting much on this, so we're probably just going to grind sideways. In terms of downside, I mean, it would literally have to clear $3, 280, so we have to end up sort of below this, the two bodies here, to even come close to this low. So I think we're going sideways on the Kyber network. Ave, as I mentioned, or Av or Av-E, however you say it, or the accumulation up here, and you can see price went straight for that. And I actually made a quote, not a quote, sorry, I actually made a reference to this, and I said I hope somebody was able to benefit on the analysis that I did when I was saying at the time that it was a great spot. And I said in the video, it's a great spot where we are right now, and I'll just leave it at that, because I didn't want to give anybody an indication to buy or sell or do anything. I was just saying, look, it's a great, it's there. We're in a really nice spot right now, and that was down here, obviously, and you can see boom, boom, boom. So going forward, it is showing a lot of strength up here. It is showing that it's stable. We'll take this off because the liquidity's gone. And in terms of next levels, let's have a look at the 4 hour. There's actually not a lot up there, to be honest. There is a tiny. I mean, if this really starts to gain some legs, you're talking 520, yeah, between 520 and sort of 517. So I'd say 515 to 520, but again, that would really need to pick up some serious steam for that to happen. Other than that, not really seeing much else, other than the bullish nature. It can comfortably come down to 410 and still be quite bullish, yeah. So that's that. Compound, taking out the highs, and that's about it. Nothing else. And let me just check something, guys. Give me 1 second. So I'm just checking a message. So it popped really nicely into these highs. Takes out all the liquidity, reverses a little bit, stabilizes, so it is stabilizing, but there's a lot of there's a big imbalance below, so it is possible that price will want to dip into that a little bit and come back into this sort of really crappy range. So in terms of anything to do, like anything that you can pick up on this, for me there's nothing. It's just a question of being patient, just leaving it do its thing. Engine, and you can see the level that I made a note of, bouncing between these levels, and again, I think we're probably going to see a lot of that down here. You can see the primary liquidity pool is here, and there's a lot of liquidity within that level, and there is some lower as well. So it's dipped into it there, just tapped the top end there, which, to be fair, that dip right there going into the liquidity pool is not what this is dipping into. This is dipping into this area of liquidity on the impulse move to the upside. So we're probably going to get the same of nothing, just kind of grinding sideways until it's ready to do something else. What's this one? Utrust. So Utrust is a new addition to the Swissborg family. Messy. Very, very messy. Definitely not something that I'd be looking at. The only thing that I would even consider doing with this is if price comes all the way down here, so it drops, to the lower end of this consolidation, this would be a great opportunity down here to pick up some Utrust, and then effectively just sit back and just watch your money grow, But I certainly wouldn't be doing anything with it here, not a chance. And I think this is a little nugget moment. When you see huge consolidations like this, and it's something new, it's been added to the app, okay, great, yeah, this is brilliant, I'm going to buy some straight away. That's fine if you're going to hold it for years. But if you're looking to get in at the right spot, down here's where you should be thinking. And it's not investment advice. I'm just talking about technical analysis and the way things generally work out, in terms of entries, in terms of reducing your risk. So for me, down here, great. Up here, pointless. Yeah. So just bear that in mind with Utrust. But in terms of the actual company itself and what it does, I'm not going to go into that. It's not my place. But I do suggest that you actually look up Utrust and go through the services that they offer, because it seems like a pretty solid company. So let's go over to Swissborg, and I've deliberately left this till last because I want to spend a little bit of time on this. And I apologise if people had to sit through all of that analysis to get to the one that they really want to watch. But like I said, this is the one that I want to spend the most time on, obviously. And you can see with Swissborg, something's different, yeah. And it's interesting because when I'm reading charts and I'm kind of going through the motions and I'm discussing things, you'll find that when you see something, it's like I read price a certain way, for example, and some other people might use indicators, yeah? So they might see something, but it's personal to them. I might see something, it's personal to me. But collectively, in the chat, some of the people that I've been, chatting with, you can kind of get the sense that something's in the air, yeah, with Swissborg. And that's reflected in the chart. You can actually see that something has just happened with Swissborg. That's quite positive. You can see that we came all the way down on the first initial bleed, started to accelerate a little bit, and then it bounced away from that. And then we had another initial bleed, more acceleration to the downside, dips right into this primary liquidity pool and effectively takes out this low and responds really nicely away from that. And then we get this beautiful bang to the upside, boom, yeah. And all of this liquidity has been building up here, okay. And I mentioned that I believe we're pretty much done, because the only liquidity that's left now is down here to the downside. Yeah, if we're talking between 40 and 50 cents, and what's the likelihood of CHSB going all the way down to 40 and 50 cents? Something insanely dramatic would have to happen, for price to come anywhere near 50 cents or 40 cents. So that's just not happening. Yeah, in my opinion. Yeah, it's just not happening. So we can see there's been a shift. Yeah, you can see it. Price came down and then it came down again, and then we had this bang. There's definitely been a shift, yeah, in the structure of price, and because of that, I like to start to look at the way prices started to move away from and deal off this initial impulse move here, and you can see price came all the way back down, this is classic, yeah, rebalancing. So price exploded to the upside to find liquidity. It finds it where, yeah, in a perfect spot where there should be liquidity, and it reacts beautifully there. It reverses, comes all the way down to rebalance price, yeah, all the way to the origin or the point of release down here, yeah. And then it starts to dip again to do what? Really look to do what? Comes all the way down again, yeah. And does it stop above the wick here? No, it comes right below the wick, just there, yeah. And I have to do it like, I'll just do it like this. I'll just use a horizontal line just to show you, okay. And I'm gonna have to make this a little bit thinner, and you can see just takes out the low of that candle, rebalances this small area here, and then bang, yeah. Look at the explosive response away from that level. It's not a small candle like this or like this. It goes all the way down, takes out that low, rebalances price, dips into the liquidity pool, and then reverses, yeah. This is such a bullish sign, yeah, and a confirmation of this higher time frame shift in market structure. Yeah, there's been an order flow shift. It's absolutely clear, 100%. There's been an order flow shift. So for me, if you just kind of zoom out like that and you kind of look at the picture, you can almost see, just with the naked eye, price without doing any analysis. You can kind of just guide it through. You can see prices coming down. It's coming down. Dips, reversal here, then it comes down, bleeds, bang, and then it stops. Yeah, you can feel that shift, that turn. If you want to use sort of classic, simple analysis, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, lower low, higher low, higher low. Yeah, you can physically see the shift, and you can almost feel the shift in flow. Yeah. And then obviously with all the other little bits as well, high time frame analysis, confirmation on the 4 hour, the hourly, some of the little things that's happened on the 15-minute chart, all give good confirmation, right, that there's been a shift in flow. And for me, I've had a really good study session on Swissborg earlier today in the afternoon. I really went through every single candle just about, on the hourly, 4 hour and daily. But I actually did it backwards, so on the daily, 4 hour and hourly, to make sure that the confirmation of what I'm seeing is there and that I can verify it and confirm it, which I'm very, very comfortable now, that there's definitely been a shift in flow. And as far as I'm concerned, and I keep saying it, 128 before the end of the month, which coincides perfectly where price should be going in terms of that next liquidity deal off. Has to be up here somewhere. So 128 is the perfect spot. So I am expecting upside, and I do get the sense that there's going to be, and don't quote me on this, guys, it's not just me that's saying this, other people have been mentioning this in the chat as well. You just kind of get the sense that they're going to be releasing something pretty soon, so definitely something to keep an eye on. Obviously it would be a nice little boost, for CHSB and the company, but there is going to be something released at some point, and I think it's going to be a little bit sooner rather than later. We know there's things coming, we know what they are, we're aware of what's going to be happening, but I think there's a few tricks up their sleeve, and obviously we as the investors, I think it's almost like a nice dynamic as well. I know some people get frustrated because they're like, we want to see stuff now, but I kind of like this little game, of trying to figure out when are they going to release it, because I'm quite happy to sit on Swissborg. I've got no issues holding this for years, and because I'm an investor and I'm holding Swissborg for years, I don't mind going through this little cat and mouse game, with Swissborg and trying to figure out, which one's coming next. Is it the BTC yield, or is it going to be the community premium, or is it going to be something else? It's actually quite exciting, really, and definitely something that I'm happy to be a part of. So I'm very comfortable, with the way that Swissborg is moving, very comfortable with what we're seeing. And again, you can see it even clearer on the daily chart. I'm expecting that bang, to the upside, and even if it just grinds up there, that last portion should be quite aggressive and quite quick as it runs into this liquidity, to scoop up whatever's up there. And as far as I'm concerned, like I said, there's definitely been a shift in flow, so I'm very confident that Swissborg is going to be moving pretty soon. All right, so I'm going to leave it at that. I'm really sorry that the video was dragged on a bit, and I did the analysis on Swissborg right at the end. I just wanted to kind of get through the other stuff, and I'm going to be changing the way that I'm doing the videos soon. I'll probably end up doing just the analysis on Swissborg completely separately, for those people that just want to focus in on the Swissborg analysis, and then for other people that, and the same people obviously if they want to, but if they want to see a full rundown, of the other currencies that are part of the Wealth app, then they can watch that video as well. And at least that way it gives people just a clear, yep, I want to see what the Swissborg analysis is. So I'm just going to go straight for that, because I can see, depending on what I title the video, who's more interested in watching what, through the analytics of the YouTube analytics. So I'm kind of just trying to tailor everything to everybody, really, I guess. So with that said, guys, I really hope everyone's having an awesome weekend. I'll do another short video tomorrow if I find time. It depends obviously on price action and what I'm doing personally in the day, but I'll try my best to get another little video out tomorrow. It would just be a short, brief one, and that's it. And with all of that said, I will catch up with you guys in the chat as always. Like I said, I hope everyone's having an awesome weekend, and I will catch up with you guys soon. Take care.